Hey man cavers, welcome back. Today we're going to talk about growing your own hops, how to do it. So what we've got over here next to the star here is where I grow my hops. What I've got here is a German variety, Sterling, English variety, Willamette, and a American variety, Cascade. So basically, when you're growing your hops, the first thing you need is what's called a rhizome. It's a piece of the roots, right? You can get this anywhere. You can go to your local homebrew shop. You can go to perfectbrewingsupply.com, my homebrew shop, and you just buy them. You can pre-order them around the March-April time frame, and then you should get them, you know, by the time you're ready to grow those. So you have to wait until the ground is thawed, of course, and you basically just dig up a small trench, just plant it right under the surface, and you cover it back up with, I just use potting soil. They're very robust, they'll grow in just about anything. The one thing to remember is that you want a southern, facing, because you need a lot of sun, and they need a lot of water too, so you just got to make sure that you have good drainage. You don't want just the water just sitting on those roots. So that's it. So you just plant them right under soil, and then the next thing you need is a trellis system. These hops will grow a good, as far as you know, about 25-30 feet. As you can see in this picture here, those are the hops. I'm about 5'11", and those are over twice as tall as I am. So in this case, I have a trellis that's 14 feet high. Now, like I said, they'll grow up to 30 feet, so what ends up happening here is once they get to the top, they'll just kind of wrap around each other and go off to the left and go off to the right. So you just have to separate them come harvest time. So what you see up here is a stainless steel wire that's hooked up to the side of my house via 2 eye bolts. And they need to hold some weight. So just get yourself a decent stainless steel wire. With some good weight rating, you should be okay. What you have on the ground here, I just put in some, as you can see here, just like a dog kind of a hook here. This is basically what you hook up your dog leash to. They twist into the ground, and so I just put that right next to the rhizomes. And from there, I will just bring up three or so twines that are specifically made for growing vine plants. So what you'll see then, once these things start sprouting, is you'll just see a whole bunch of sprouts. And once you see those sprouts coming, you want to pick like about 3 or so of the more robust sprouts and just trim off the rest. What that'll allow to happen is that all the energy from the roots go right into those 3 sprouts. And you'll see a couple grow here and there throughout the season, and you just trim them. So you'll bring them onto the twine and just train them to grow initially, and they'll find their way and they'll grow up to the top on their own. Around September-ish, around Labor Day, at least for me anyway, in the Midwest, we just you'll notice that the cones of these hops become papery. Some of the topmost hops, you know, they'll even start becoming a little brownish. When you start seeing that, it's time to harvest them. So what you'll do then, you can go up and pick them as they get ripe. I did that for the first year or so. But what you probably want to do eventually is just when you start seeing the majority of them be ready, just cut them down. You know, cut them all down and bring them all down. From there, you'll just pick the cones off the vines. After that, you'll want to dry them. So what I use is I use the things from the windows, the screens. I use the screens from the windows, right? So I'll place all these hops, sandwich them among 2 screens, put a box fan under them, and just let them dry in a dry place. You know, I use my basement. You know, anywhere is good as long as it's dry, and I let them go for about a week. Usually, you know, they say when you can grab a cone and snap it in half, it's dry enough. You know, so it's rare that you can find one that does that perfectly, but that's about good. So about a week. After that, bag them up. You can use, you know, you can use something as simple as a Ziploc bag for the freezer, or if you really want to go hardcore, use a vacuum sealer, and that's even better. So once that's done, you just throw them in the freezer. Use them for flavor hops and aroma hops. You can use them for bittering hops, but you don't know how bitter they'll be, so you take your own, you know, you run your own risk with that. So that's it, man cavers. You know, like I said, go to your local homebrew shop to get more information. Next week, we'll be talking about how to build an electric brewery in your basement, the man cave, and anything there that we need to do. So with that, cheers.